What's up? Ken from Palm Beach Dyno here. Behind us is our 2020 Shelby GT500 CX1100. Some of you guys may have recently seen, I called out Brooks at drag times with his 765 LT McLaren. He just got that. He's doing some big things with it. The main reason it got my attention is his car, bone stock, ran a very close time to what our modified Shelby GT500 ran. And you know, a lot of you guys, you know, on his channel, he said a Mustang wants to take a shot. I don't know if that's a shot at a Mustang or not, but that's okay with me. It's a GT500. It's a little bit more of a special car. I love Mustang GTs too, don't get me wrong. But what makes this car special is it's really proven itself on the road course in bone stock form. In fact, if you look at the lap times of the 765 LT versus the Shelby Mustang GT500 at Hockenheim, you know, they're not too far off. I believe the McLaren is a best of 146 and the GT500 was a best of 154. Now that's bone stock. Obviously we modified that. So since we've got this race coming up against Brooks and the McLaren 765, let's talk a little bit more about it. That vehicle is bone stock with a tire, and we're comparing it to a modified vehicle. Well, you know, why would you do something like that? Well, this is a package. This is, you know, this isn't just, you know, here's a list on the internet and you can do some of this stuff and you're going to get kind of this sort of performance. This is a turnkey package. It's got a set price. You drop the car off, we do everything to it, and you pick it up. So think of it more of a special edition. We've already got 6 or 7 cars booked in these upcoming months in the early part of this year, and things are really starting to take off. And we're going to have different versions of this package. Some lower versions that might make 900 to 1,000 instead of that 1,100 horsepower, and we're going to have higher horsepower versions down the road. We'll have Whipple versions, we'll have twin turbo versions, but this is available right now. So, you know, how will this race go? Well, the biggest downfall of where we're at now with this car is transmission control. As we add more and more power, we can tune the engine computer, but we can't tune the transmission controller. So we're really lacking in the 60 foot. So we have to make that up on the big end. So even though this car has gone 155 miles an hour, I was only able to manage a 930, which really isn't that awesome of an ET for that kind of power. Whereas Brooks is right there with me, and I think he went 150 to 151, and that's because of the 60 foot. And it's not because the car is not capable of it, it's not because the power is not available or the gearing's not right, it's because the transmission controller is limiting us. So I fully expect once we get around that sort of limitation, and probably add some upgrades to the clutches and the transmission to handle all that extra power in first gear, this will be an easy 8-second package. But I'm not going to promise that to you guys right now because we don't know how long that's going to be. So we're talking about a mid to low 9-second package and a performance car on the road course. Now, let's go over the car a little bit, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about what makes this race relevant, at least to me. A lot of our customers are choosing this package, a modified version of this, instead of a supercar. I'm not trying to say that this setup is equal to a McLaren 765 LT, but I believe that car is over $300,000, probably spec'd out over $400,000. So this is a lower cost alternative. that at least plays in the same playground. Now what's going to happen is, of course, the Mustang is going to keep up with the McLaren at the drag strip. We could bring a 7-second Mustang if we wanted to, but the key to this car is that we didn't really ruin any of its road racing capabilities. We've just increased its power to make it do better at the drag strip, and we've lightened it up just a little bit. You know, that's the one downfall of this car, if you're gonna make, you know, compare it to a lot of different supercars out there, is the weight. We have gotten a few £100 out of it. There's still a lot to go to really get it to where I would like to have it, but I wanna go over the car real quick with you guys. Up front, it's got a ported supercharger from JOKERZ Performance. It's got our billet supercharger lid, injector dynamics ID 1300s. It's got Lethal Performance Division X fuel rails. It's got a JLT cold air kit, SPE pulley, Whipple tensioner. You know, it's got a long list, but one thing you have to understand is that these are all bolt-ons. The engine hasn't been touched. In fact, you know, it's got a new set of spark plugs in it. That's it. The exhaust is a KOOKS long tube setup, 2-inch primaries with a Lethal mid pipe, and a factory catback is still in this thing. It's a factory transmission, factory clutches. The suspension is bone stock. It features forge line wheels with 18s in the back. I do have a set of carbon fiber wheels for this vehicle that we will be using for the road course. In fact, I really believe that I can duplicate my 930s on a 20-inch wheel with the Toyo R888R, but I'm gonna wait on that right now. I want to give myself the best advantage I can with the tires that are on it. Also, we've got the Tillet Racing carbon fiber seats with a custom logo to match the car. All Anderson composites parts around the whole entire vehicle. We've got the hood, side splitters, the wickers, which are not on the car right now. I don't leave those on for drag racing. Obviously, for aerodynamics, it's best to take those off. We've got the rear wing, the gurney flap, the rear valance, the little mud flap extensions. Some things coming soon are going to be the hood vents, the bumper insert. This is all coming from Ford Performance through Anderson Composites, and also the rear trunk Cobra piece on the back. So that tells you a little bit about the car. Right now it runs on MS-109 fuel, and that's how I'm going to be running it against Brooks most likely. I may get the fuel system in by then to run E85. I forgot about one of the biggest mods on the car. It has carbon ceramic upgraded rotors. Now, why did I do that? These have the largest rotors of any production vehicle that I know of, 16.5 inch. Well, I did that for weight, obviously. You know, a lot of Mustang guys might go the route of putting drag brakes on this. I want to be able to road race this car, and I want to be able to prove it on the road course when we're done with all this drag race testing. So this whole package wrapped up really will come with a fuel system and run on E85. On E85, it'll make 1100 horsepower at the wheels. On pump gas, it'll make 900 horsepower at the wheels, and it'll drive and, you know, go coast to coast as if it was a new car. Now, of course, these sorts of things don't come with warranties. I'm not trying to compare this to the McLaren 765 LT by any stretch of the imagination, but if you look at the cost of this package and the cost of the vehicle, if you're including everything that I added up, the wheels, all that installed, you know, you're probably still under $50,000. So you're talking for $130,000 to $140,000 turnkey, ready to rock. You're gonna have low 9-second quarter mile times and the road course performance that is going to, we don't know yet. It's gonna be a lot better than stock, and the car is already an excellent performer on the road course. So I'm actually looking forward to that part of the development on this vehicle, because I am not a road racer. I've done a lot of road race tuning. I've tuned at Daytona, for Grand Am, IMSA, I've done NASA, I've done Dyno. I was the official Dyno for a NASA National Championships out in Salt Lake City. So I've been around a lot of road racing, I just haven't done a lot of it myself. So I'm really looking forward to that on this vehicle, and that's gonna really ramp up this year. I wanted to talk a little bit about the history of this vehicle. One of the first times you guys saw it on YouTube was on Drag Times. Jimmy and Brooks called me up and wanted to see if they could come up and check it out, since they were a little hard to come by when they first hit the dealer lot. And you can check out that video right here. Here's a little bit of it. In fact, they did the very first burnout in my vehicle and ruined the tire, so check that one out.
Ken from Palm Beach Dyno is going to give us a little demo right here. Let's see it. There we go.
And then not long after that, you saw it on Drag Times once again. It was in mostly stock form here also, racing an M8 on Drag Times. It did pretty well. This is a good comparison of what the car does stock as delivered versus an M8, but in reality, a lot of us are after a lot more power, and that's where we wound up, where we're at. You can watch that video here on Drag Times. Then, after doing a lot of these modifications, our friends at That Racing Channel showed up and did a really nice feature for us on this car, which you can check out here. Here's a few clips from that video.
A few moments later.
Okay guys, I've spoken to Brooks and the track, and we have this just about scheduled. It's going to happen about the first week of February. Who do you guys got? It's going to be the best of three most likely. I think I'm looking pretty good if I can get the car consistent, but you know, things haven't been too consistent with the tuning on the transmission, so it's anybody's game. Of course, reaction time matters. I might be quicker on the time slip, but if he beats me, he beats me. I'd also like to see this same matchup on the road course. Who wants to see that? I'm not sure if Brooks is down for that. If not, anybody knows a 765 LT that wants to try it out, we can set something up at the road course at Palm Beach International Raceway. Comment below if you want to see that. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and we'll see you on the next one.